The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. We kick things off. We got markets in positive territory yet again. You have NVIDIA trading higher. We have the court striking down the tariffs, momentarily at least. And we go to the S&Ps right now. And yeah, you get an acceleration last night, and that acceleration extended. For the indices, you see a little bit of volatility originally on the S&Ps on the NVIDIA earnings, and things really take off on the court, and then we give some of that back. And we're right back to where we were. Basically, the start of yesterday's action. S&Ps right now up by 45 points, trading at 59.50. How about the NASDAQ 100? Now, we've given up almost 200 points from where we were at about 4 a.m. this morning. We're trading right now up 282 points, or 1.3% to the upside, 21,662. As I mentioned, NVIDIA higher on their numbers. Dow, look at that, right? Dow just gave back 500 points. Yeah. 42,267 right now, up by 97. And you have the Russell up by 11, but a give back there on the Russell, too, by almost 50 points on the Russell. You talk about an acceleration. Crude trading at 61.54. We're above 63 briefly on some of that same exuberance with the tariffs getting rescinded by the courts for the time being. And check out the moving yields. You talk about some volatility, man. This whole market. You drive all the way down to 109.25, and just like that, boom, you take off like a rocket since about 5 a.m. Now, we got GDP out there, the second reading of GDP out there this morning as well, but right now we're talking about a yield of 4.46, okay? 4.46, the yield on the 10-year, as yields pull back a little bit on that spike. And look at that move on the dollar. Up to 100.50, and boom, just like that, we've lost a full point. We got a little dollar weakness again. The dollar to 99.40. And what are we back to? Basically where we were on Tuesday and where we were on Friday as well for that dollar as we chop around near 100. And yeah, you can see the action on gold, right? Gold gets it back from where we were. Gold positive by 13 bucks. We were down at 32.69 though before you got some reverberations in that dollar contract, dollar index. And yeah, we're back to pushing the relative highs of yesterday. Just like that, 33.35 right now in that gold contract. We jump over to the VIX. 1912 on the volatility index. All right, we jump around, you kick it off, and yeah. So we have a block of the tariffs. Court has blocked many of the tariffs, and yeah. So a three-judge panel for the U.S. Court of International Trade declared that they had wrongly invoked the 1977 law imposing Liberation Day tariffs on dozens of countries. It extended that ruling to previous tariffs levied on Canada, Mexico, China over the security of the U.S. border. Yeah, and that will be appealed, and it'll probably make its way to the Supreme Court. Unclear how fast that will go into effect. The court gave the government up to 10 days to carry out the necessary administrative moves to remove those tariffs. But if it holds, it would eliminate the new 30% tariff on imports from China, 25% on Canada and Mexico, and 10% across the board elsewhere. But that story is going to take some time to play out, folks. That's not the end of that story at all. That is one roadblock. And I'm sure you'll hear, talking about unelected judges. Well, unelected judges is true. And that's also how democracies keep rulers in check. That's also what unelected judges do. All right, let's jump to NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, you come into their earnings at almost 137. You drove down to about 135 coming into the closing bell. Nonetheless, strong numbers. NVIDIA, you're pushing 142 this morning. You take a look at the daily. So 142 on this chart. You're talking about the upper echelon here. Okay, that was the high we made last October. We got as high June to 140.76. Put this thing on a weekly. And yeah, that high last June, 140.76. So you're going to open above there. I mean, you're pushing almost all-time highs for NVIDIA. Absolutely remarkable when you talk about a pullback from 153 to 86, and we're going to be in the 140s today on NVIDIA. Whew. You talk about it, man. And to get into the numbers, let's jump around to some of the other Magnificent Seven. We got Amazon shares. Now, they spiked all the way to what? Yeah, 211, I was going to say, on that tariff news last night. NVIDIA up to 212. Amazon up to 212, but just like the market, you give it back a bit. We're right back where we were on the open yesterday. Nonetheless, Amazon, you're going to be up by almost $4 to 208 this morning. Meta shares, nice lift, up $7 to $650 right now. You jump over to Google shares, trading at 175 from 173 and change yesterday. And we check out Microsoft shares right now, trading up a few dollars as well to 461. And in terms of the numbers, how about it? They're looking, they plan to sell $45 billion of chips in the July quarter. But guess what? That's missing about $8 billion in sales the company would have recorded if the U.S. was not restricting exports of the H20 chip without a license. Well, that is where the future is, technology. And those restrictions, it's going to be an ever-present factor. China represents a $50 billion market that had effectively been closed to NVIDIA. Some of the comments he had out there. But yeah, you're talking about the cloud providers, right? So, Microsoft, their Azure, Google's cloud, Oracle, cloud infrastructure, OCI, AWS, still make up about half of its data center revenue, which was $39.1 billion in sales during the quarter. Now, you want a real risk for NVIDIA? The risk isn't China, in my opinion. Okay, the risk isn't AI. The risk is that between Microsoft, Google, Oracle, and Amazon, that's half their business, 4 customers. You got, a company that's the biggest company in the world almost, and they're relying basically on 4 customers to drive 50% of their business. Yeah. So Blackwell was 70% of the data center sales during the quarter. And Microsoft had already Microsoft had already deployed tens of thousands. Imagine tens of thousands. Each one of these chips is like what, 30 grand? Tens of thousands of Blackwell GPUs processing 100 trillion tokens in the first quarter. And that's a measure of AI output, a token, nonetheless. They're doing a lot of processing, right? And they'll be the first in line to get the Blackwell Ultra. Love it. You gotta love the word ultra, right? Whether you're finding a beer or an AI chip, whether it's Michelob Ultra or Blackwell Ultra, that'll serve you well. You gotta love marketing, right? Who gets paid, right? Like, well, I work for Michelob. They made Michelob Ultra. Let's make Blackwell Ultra. That's it. Blackwell Ultra. They're new to chip. We're doing it. Nonetheless, NVIDIA, strong numbers, man. The forecast, everything, the market likes it. And yeah, NVIDIA, you're going to open up by almost $8 right now. Now, NVIDIA had a $10 move, so pretty much in line with expectations, right? $10 move in either direction. We're opening up about 8. We got 15 minutes till the opening bell. Lots to talk about. Don't go away, folks.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. S&P's right now up by 50 points, trading at 59.53. NASDAQ 100 up by 300 plus. Going to be an interesting day, digesting NVIDIA, digesting the tariff news. Now, no matter where you go, there's potentially more tariffs coming down the line. And I can, so many headlines to choose from this morning, but I think it was Goldman. Who are they talking about? Yeah, there's plenty of possibilities in terms of further tariffs that can be placed to replicate those tariffs, and then those tariffs got to go through the courts, etc. So it's going to keep playing out. This isn't and I think that's where you're seeing a recoil here. Market's near 6,000 right now. Exuberance a bit tamed. And yeah. All right, let's jump around. How about Kohl's? So they're going to catch a 10% lift on their numbers. Yeah, big numbers for Kohl's, man. They topped their prior forecast. 2025 outlook is maintained. They do have a comp sale decrease of 3.9% in the quarter, but you pull it over, and they have their CEO getting ousted. That's the headline, right? Nope, that was another one. But nonetheless, CEO gets ousted for unprofessional behavior, we'll call it. They have an interim CEO in there. Comp sales are down 3.9% in the quarter, but guess what? Analysts were looking for sales at 3.02. They came in at 3.05. Now, the problem is you always got to turn around the comp sales decrease, right? They're decreasing slower than expected, but they narrowed their loss to just $15 million, 13 cents a share for the first quarter. Their loss was $27 million or 24 cents a share a year ago. And they beat expectations. Yeah, they were looking for a decline between 4 to 4.3. I mean, they barely beat expectations. Be careful of this equity. All right, you have analysts looking for a 4% decline, maybe a 4.3% decline. They went down 3.9%. You know, they beat in the most slightest of sense that you could have there. All right, other equities. Best Buy, down about $2 coming into the open. They cut their guidance as tariffs loom is the headline there. So they're looking for about 41.1 to 41.9 billion in revenue, and that's down 300 million on the top and bottom. So shave 300 million off their forecast on the top and bottom of the range. They're down a bit. Earnings, yeah, slight revision as well. It's always interesting, right? They have more clarity, but the more clarity is towards the bottom range. They gave themselves a 40-cent range from 620 to 660 previously. Now they're giving themselves a 15-cent range, but that 50-cent range is 615 to 630. 200 million in the quarter of profit. And if you strip out one-time fees, it's $1.15. You know, for a company like Best Buy, all right, let's take a look at this thing on a price and volume perspective right now. First, we're going to look at talk about what kind of a company we're dealing with here, what kind of size. All right, a $15 billion company. You take it in $200 million in profit in 90 days, right? That means you're making $800 million in a year. And they're trading at, what, a 20 PE then, essentially? And, you know, I'm ballparking, I'm going off the last 90 days, but you can see it's still a lofty valuation, man. If you're only making $800 million a year and your company's valued at almost $15 billion, look at this chart, man. You're trading like it's 2006, right? Whew. Be careful at Best Buy, man. And let's take a look at this thing on a price and volume perspective. Yeah, there's some real volume, even last week, right? You see, we trade higher, the volume lightens up. Yeah, look at this on the weekly, all right? This is, you know, we're trading lower on their earnings in March. We're trading lower on Liberation Day to lows of $54. You catch a bid during that week as well. That's your green bar with all the volume of 42.5 million on Best Buy. You catch a bid the week of April 21st, right? But what happens after that? The volume dries up. That's it. Okay, and when does the volume increase again? The last couple weeks, when you actually trade lower during those weeks, right? You sell down the week of May 12th. You sell down the week of May 19th. And we're going to open about a couple dollars lower at $69 and change right now for Best Buy. But yeah, they're going to be facing some competition. And, you know, valuation-wise, that's a tough one. They're going to be trading a little bit lower this morning. All right, what else we got going on? Let's see. Yeah, how about United and JetBlue? So, United, JetBlue. Yeah, they're going to let travelers use loyalty points and seats across carriers. And that's going to be a partnership that's going to allow both of them, to integrate their operations in the New York City area is what they're talking about. The partnership called Blue Sky Alliance is going to give United access to JetBlue's JFK flight slots for up to 7 daily round trips starting in 2027. It's amazing how forward-looking. And this is like a great example of what needs to take place for businesses, right, to do deals. When you talk about the level of uncertainty going on, just remember that these are the types of deals. You make a deal, okay, we'll start doing business in 2027. Great deal. It's May of 2025. That's how businesses work when you're in that type of a scale. Nonetheless, it's going to grant JetBlue access to some of United's favorite flight times at Newark Liberty International Hub. Well, hopefully they got Newark fixed by 2027. I'm sure that's what JetBlue is saying. Nonetheless, we jump over to those two airlines right now. JetBlue, they have been a dog, to put it lightly. And they're catching a little, the most ever so slight, and there's your volatility on that deal probably. Nonetheless, you're up with the market by 7 pennies on JetBlue. And again, not coming due until 2027. United right now trading up near $79 from $77.50. All right, here it was. This is what I was talking. I couldn't find the article. Nope, that's not it either. Okay, we'll talk about this one, though. Gold and oil. How about it? You looking for some hedges? Now, what's interesting here, right, is here's the first article, okay? Goldman says, maybe think about gold, maybe think about oil. They don't talk about Bitcoin, right? But the analysts suggest that adding those two to the 60-40 portfolio can reduce risk and provide positive real returns, especially during periods when stocks and bonds perform poorly, right? And remember, folks, if we have rising yields, okay, bonds are going to perform poorly, right? Price is going to go down for bonds, yields go up. So if you have rising yields at a time when even the market is persevering, which has kind of been happening, right? Market's been going up. Yields are getting a little freaked out, though. Market's behaving well. What does that do when the market goes down if you have yields going up? And we've seen that, right? We've seen the situation where you have equities go down, the price of fixed income go down, and the dollar go down. Well, they say add some oil, add some gold. Well, you know what? Then you jump to Bitcoin. Everyone's ditching gold to buy $9 billion versus a Bitcoin. Is that a bubblicious headline? It may be. So we'll talk some gold, we'll talk some oil, folks, we'll talk some Bitcoin when we get back, and we'll talk some equities. We're coming back to the opening bell. Stay tuned.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, reversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs? Trade wars? Analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento for the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry has been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The dates for this month are April 11th and 25th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got equities open. You got S&P up by 46, NASDAQ 100 up by 266. A little bit of a give back coming into the opening bell there, but nonetheless, markets green across the board right now. You jump over to NVIDIA. Excuse me. NVIDIA shares up by more than 5%, up by almost $7 to $141.64. Let's check out the winners and losers on the NVIDIA. Meta up by 1.3. Amazon up by 1.3 as well. Microsoft up by 0.8%. Google shares up by 0.6%. Tesla up by 2.3%. I've seen headlines. Was it last night, I believe, that Tesla, they have self-driving vehicles coming somewhere. I think sometime in June 12th, maybe Austin, I was reading about over there. Nonetheless, Tesla up by 2.2% so far this morning. All right, you talk about news this morning, right? We got NVIDIA, we have the tariffs, and you got GDP. So this is the second reading. GDP decreased at 0.2% annualized pace in the first quarter. That's the second estimate. The first one was a 0.3% decline. So even a little bit better. But yeah, a little bit of consumer spending and an even bigger impact from trade than initially reported is the number there. Personal spending plus 1.2%, revised from plus 1.8%. So consumers not really spending as much as we really thought, yeah. And net exports subtracted nearly 5 percentage points from the GDP calculation, slightly more than even was first thought. How about imports, up 42%? That'll do it. These numbers, this is, you got a huge pull ahead here. Everybody, listen, I don't agree with a lot of what the president does, but these GDP numbers, man, they're getting manipulated by the fact that everybody's bringing in so many goods ahead of the tariffs, right? And if you bring in all those imports, that's going to hurt GDP numbers when you talk about net exports, and there you go. And so that's going to reverberate. You're going to see that you're not going to have as many imports in the months right after the tariffs because you pulled that ahead. You pulled that demand ahead. And so, yeah, that's going to weaken the imports, which will actually help our net export number, which helps the GDP numbers in the numbers going forward. So expect that GDP number to tick up in the future numbers. All right, and this was the headline I was talking about here, talking about Goldman, Morgan. Yeah, you can have other tools out there. And what can happen is, when you can throw everything at the wall, folks, and it's got to go through the courts, that's what's going to happen here. The levies we had yesterday are probably going to be the tariff levels that we have tomorrow because there's so many different authorities the administration can reach into to put it back together. And that was Morgan Stanley's global head of fixed income out there on Bloomberg this morning. Goldman Sachs wrote in a note to clients late Wednesday on this ruling. It's a setback and increases uncertainty, but might not change the final outcome from most major U.S. trading partners. And yeah, there are different approaches that would take a couple months to put in place. That's the Director of National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett. And we'll see. But there's other options, and you see it already coming from Morgan Stanley, and I was going to say Morgan and Morgan for a second, Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs. All right, so we talked some tariffs, we talked everything up there pretty much. All right, let's take a look at NVIDIA. Let's do it. All right, they're buying NVIDIA this morning. Gotta love it. Okay. Taking a look at a longer-term chart of this. You're at 143.36. Let's put it about a weekly, see what we got for volume here. Yeah, we got a shortened week. This week of May 12th, tremendous volume. Last week, we lightened up a little bit on the pullback, and I imagine, we'll see how today goes. The day is young, as they say, but we only got 2 trading days left on a shortened week. Might be decent, though, for a 4-day week. We get some volume today in the market. S&P's up by 42, and NVIDIA continuing to climb 143.20 right now for NVIDIA. All right, we jump back to that crude market. So much for those top trading ranges, right? Crude been below $65 for the better of 2 full months now. And you check out crude. You get the story out here from Bloomberg this morning. All the rage has been about OPEC's supply hikes, They're expected to add 1.37 million barrels a day of production in July, but up to a third of that may not materialize. Due to compensation pledges and production issues in countries like Kazakhstan and Iraq, the actual increase may be around 972,000 is what they're talking about. The headline numbers in black here, the target increases after compensation cuts, and then the actual number they're talking about. You're still going to see hikes. You're still going to see hikes in their production. Crude has been under pressure dramatically. The 8 members have agreed to add back 960,000 barrels a day. And you're going to see the 1.37 million headline out there. And yeah, that was the date. There it is for Tesla fanboys out there. June 12th of the robotaxi service in Austin. It's coming, man. So the previously unreported date was discussed internally, could still change. And they got test vehicles on public roads in Austin with no one in the driver's seat for the first time. A Tesla engineer was riding in the passenger seat of a Model Y SUV, which drove autonomous with no remote operation. And so it's coming. You talk about volatility. We'll see where we go from there. And the toughest part about, pull up Tesla. The toughest part about this is it's going to be a radical change, and it's going to take trust, right? So think about it this way. There's a lot of people who have a tremendous fear of flying, right? You have a tremendous fear of flying. And the reason why a lot of people have a tremendous fear of flying is because they don't have control. That's my perception, okay? And yes, you're 30,000 feet in the sky, all that stuff, but you have no control over it, right? That's one of the main aspects of some of those deals. You jump on a fuselage that puts you 30,000 feet in the sky, and you have no control over what happens. Even though driving in a car is a lot more dangerous. I mean, it just monumentally, you can't even, it's so much more dangerous to jump into a car, folks, than it is to jump into a plane, right? But that doesn't matter because it's about control. So when you talk about self-driving, now listen, there's an army of people out there ready to jump in self-driving vehicles, okay, ready to adopt the technology. But when you're talking about going mainstream, it's going to take trust to adopt that technology. And it's going to be interesting to see how we jump over and over in terms of as we, there's going to be obstacles in the way of getting to self-driving across the board. And you're going to have to meander that with trust of the people. And we're going to see as Tesla deploys them. We'll be right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at direction.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. Market giving it back a little bit. We got selling on the open right now. S&P's up by 0.6%, trading up 35 points at 59.38. Nasdaq 100, we're selling as well. We were just coming into that open at 21,700. You're down about 160 points, and we're down now 300 points from the highs we had at about 4 a.m. this morning. Dow barely in the green, up by 48 points, 0.1%. Russell up by 0.3%, but the Russell, man, how about it? Russell just gave up 53 points. What is that, 2.3% from the upside for the Russell? Jump back to gold. Gold up about $16, trading at $33.39. All right, jumping back to NVIDIA. Let's check it out. So you can talk about some numbers, man. NVIDIA's not selling. Check it out, right? Strong numbers, man. So the first quarter, sales up 69% to $44.1 billion, okay? The number they were looking for was 43.3, so they beat by $800 million in the quarter, okay? That was the smallest percentage gain in 2 years. Remarkable, right? Profit, 96 cents a share. Wall Street was looking for 93. They beat there as well, okay? The data center unit, 39.1 billion, right? Their total revenue was 44.1. Data center, 39.1 billion. Just shy of what the market was actually looking for, though, okay? Gaming-related sales, 3.8 billion. The market was looking for 2.8. So keep that in mind. All that revenue beat was actually on the gaming-related sales, okay? And automotive. I guess they got chips in automotive. Up by 567 million. Drop in the bucket compared to everything else going on. Yeah. And yeah, they talked about China. They got a $4.5 billion write-down because of the issue, talking about the new curbs that are in place there. And yeah, they're going to have some problems with China. $50 billion is what that market's going to grow to, he thinks. And I bet it will. Easily, right? China. Yeah, nonetheless, strong numbers, man. And they're pushing a valuation near $3 trillion. You got to love it. Yeah, you know what's amazing, folks? I'll tell you this. So I showed a couple videos yesterday, and thanks for the feedback, Darth. I showed a couple videos yesterday of Tommy, right, and this app Pika that I was playing with, which is spelled P-I-K-A, folks, all right? I should get them as a sponsor, man. And I got more feedback than I've gotten since I started the show, practically. I got a couple emails, folks. I got people in the den talking about it. I got people emailing me saying, what was that app, man, that you were checking out, right? You can see how on the forefront we are. You really can, folks, okay? And it was amazing myself to see. in terms of I got just such a reaction immediately. All right, and if you weren't watching it yesterday, I'll show them one more time. Why not? Because it was. And if you weren't watching it, all right, here, I'm going to show you a couple of videos how it takes 2 seconds, folks, to create these types of videos, and they're completely free. And if you pay $20 or $30, okay, let me see if I can make it bigger. Here we go. If you pay $20 or $30, it comes in for a bunch of credits, and that's what you have. You know, you post a little picture, you say, change the boy into Iron Man, have him flying through the skitty city skyline, right? It does it all for free. You change it out. You see it. You can play with it. You generate it again, etc. It was, you know, I found myself saying, you know, maybe I should be doing an AI show, because that's the type of reaction you got yesterday, man. And that's the deal. So it's coming, folks, you know, and it's everywhere. And that's, you know, I thought I was talking about Google. Google gives it back on the open as well, but I'm gonna figure out a way to start playing with their new video generation tool as well. Being in content creation, folks, all right, you're telling me that it creates videos with sound, with characters, with everything. And here's the most remarkable part about that, okay? That just, I mean, imagine this, okay? You can create high quality 8-second videos with VO3, state-of-the-art AI video generation across the board, okay? And you look at where we are, and it just happened like a week ago. Think about being on the forefront, all right? And this is Gemini, right? You got VO2, you got VO3, 8-second videos. Break the silence, as in audio. Think about it. For the first time ever in the universe, you can type a sentence and have a video created with audio, and this happened days ago. And that's where we are right now. This is about to explode. You're going to see these videos everywhere, and and the line between reality is gone. As in, videos are going to be everywhere. They're going to be talking. They're going to have audio. They're going to have video, and they're all going to be AI. And this just started a week ago. All right. Now that Pika app's been out for a while. The VO3 with audio, creating voices for the characters you're creating, because I have no audio in what I was just creating there. It's a game changer, and it's right now. It's literally right now. Yeah. All right. Check out some movers. Tesla up by 2.1% right now. Amazon gives it back with this market. Amazon up by about 0.9%. Nvidia up by 4.5%. United up by 2.8%. They got a lift on that deal with JetBlue. JetBlue trades lower. Go figure. And check in on Kohl's on their numbers. Whoo. All the way up to $10. And just like that, you're still up by 10%. But you just traded down $1 on Kohl's. My goodness, watch out for that one. Kohl shares up by 8.7%. But boy, that would be quite a give back. And as I mentioned, you're still shrinking. Comp sales were down 3.9% for Kohl's, as opposed to being down 4 to 4.3%. And look at the volume on a weekly. This is not how you trade higher with real momentum on an equity. They got some work to do on Kohl's. We jump around to some of one of my favorite retailers out there, TJX. Check out that channel, right? TJX up about 0.9% right now. Speaking of channel lines, let's pull up Mickey D's, down about 0.1% right now. We check in on Best Buy on their numbers. Yeah, they're giving it up on Best Buy, man. That's a tough one. Down by 7% right now to $66, and you're trading back to almost where we were in 2006. And I mean, check it out, folks. You know, you were trading at $40 in 2000. You're a quarter century later. And Best Buy appears to be a thriving company. Meanwhile, you're at $66, man. Now you did make it all the way down to what, $10? What was the low there? Yeah, $10, $11 in 2012. But nonetheless, you take a look at the volume, man. Look at that acceleration last month, right? Now everything's going to have an acceleration there because of the spike low, but we got no bid in this equity whatsoever. You can't even find a green bar with where the market rallied. That's a tough one, man. Best Buy down by 7% on their numbers. All right, market giving it up a bit. S&P's up by 27. Stay tuned, folks. We're coming back. One more segment. Don't go away.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. The S&Ps, we're catching a bit off those lows. We're just up about 10 points off those lows. S&P's up by 0.7%, up 39 points at 59.42. And our man Basil Chapman, folks, he's back in the saddle. He's primed. He's ready from vacation. And he's coming up next for the Tiger Technicians Hour. So stay tuned with Basil. I know he's ready. He's a happy man to get back in that saddle. So stay tuned for Basil coming up next. And how about this one in terms of, direct-to-consumer sales? Hailey Bieber. Watch out, Justin. There's all the reports. So Justin Bieber, right? There's reports that Bieber had blown through so much money that that's why he sold off some of his catalog or his whole catalog at a certain age. But man, you're talking about $1 billion for a company 3 years ago. But guess what? They just went from $0 in sales to almost $250 million in sales in 3 years with only 10 products. It's amazing. Yeah. In 3 years, less than 3 years, you go from starting the company to $212 million in sales just from your website with 10 products, okay? And now they're going to be in other stores as well. I was reading through this even when we were at the break. And they're going to be in other, Sephora and somebody else, I think. Expect to be rolled out into retail, including Sephora. Yeah, you better believe that's going to increase their growth. But yeah, $212 million, man, and you bank it for $1 billion. Not bad. Not bad for 3 years of work. So congratulations to Haley Bieber, man. Getting it done. You got to love it. And Elf, they're taking over them. And yeah, growing the portfolio. All right, we got the NASDAQ coming back to test yesterday's low, a little bit of a bounce. Keep your eye on that 21,500 price point in the NASDAQ. That was kind of the area yesterday that you traded lower from at 3 o'clock. That's the area we just bounced from as well. And yeah, we got markets green across the board. We checked one more time on NVIDIA shares, up by 5.3% right now. All the markets in the green. All right, folks, thanks so much for kicking off your trading day right here with me. Stay tuned. Basil Chapman, Tiger Technicians Hour. He's coming up next, folks. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Have a great one, folks.